Hold on, it's coming. There you go.
Thank you again for being here. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I'm going to be attending the Age Action Conference in Washington, D.C. in May. And I'm curious if anybody here will be attending that. I hope so. Anyone? Maybe you could raise your hand.
You can send little hand emojis or Ada. Great. At least one.
Okay. Good. Good. Well, if you're going to be there, stop by and see us. I'm going to have a booth set up. If any of your colleagues are going to be there, I'd love to meet them, have them stop by and talk. And I know Christine is going to be at the USA Aging Conference in San Diego. Christine, is that right?
Yep, San Diego at the end of July. I think it's the 18th through the 21st, like that third weekend in July. So definitely same will apply. We'll have a booth. I'll be there. Definitely if you have friends, colleagues, or if you guys are going to be there, definitely come by and see us. We always love to shake hands and meet people in person, and maybe it's a good opportunity for you guys to come and introduce others to us as well. So please, if you're going to be at conferences that we're at, come and meet us and see us and bring your colleagues with you.
And Christine, that's all I had. You were going to mention.
Okay. Yeah. We have a small little announcement and just wanted to change. We basically are just changing the wording or the title of something that's part of the program. So we are changed the name of the Bingo Size in a Box to the Motivation and Movement Kit. We felt like for a long time it maybe didn't explain itself very well in the name. And so we felt like Motivation and Movement Kit was a more encompassing name of what's actually in the kit, because it has prizes in it that you're using to motivate your participants, and then it has the exercise for the movement piece of things. So nothing else about it has changed. It still has the exact same content. We just wanted to rebrand it and have a name that just felt like it was more telling and explanatory from the name itself of what was in the kit. So if you hear us say that or see that on the website or see that on an invoice in the future, that's what that is. So it used to be Bingo Size in a Box. Now it's the Motivation and Movement Kit. So just wanted to share that quick little piece of info. And you guys, just in case you haven't seen our e-commerce site, we do have e-commerce now, which has been a super, I feel like, big addition for us and a bonus for you all, for those who are just wanting to hop on and like grab a shirt here and there or grab prizes or need a couple of extra bands, and that way you don't have to necessarily go through me. I still handle all of the licensure, trainings, things like that, anything that's kind of tied to an expiration date, but we've tried to make it easier for you all to come back and get those supplies. So if you hop on our website, we have that available easily and conveniently located for you all. So I think that's it from us. We just wanted to share a couple of announcements, but we love opening the floor. We love to answer questions for you all. I guess I'm curious, or I definitely see some faces and names that I recognize, but I see some that I don't. And so I guess I would love to know, just raise your hand if you're new, like if you're just getting started with Bingo Size. Awesome. It looks like quite a handful of people, which is exactly what we want, because we do encourage you all in the facilitator training to join. If you are new to the program, we want you to come in and do this. Just a reminder, in your first couple of sessions, in those first 2 weeks of your sessions, you'll complete a fidelity check. You'll have somebody fill out that tool for you. The fidelity tool is available in your dashboard where you can access all of the curriculum and the web-based game. So all of that is in there, the parameters. It can be somebody who's trained in any evidence-based program can observe you. So it doesn't have to be someone who's a Bingo Size facilitator. They can be trained in Silver Sneakers or Tai Chi or Matter of Balance or Walk with Ease, any of the other evidence-based programs. They would be able to jump in and do that for you, and they're just going to basically observe you and fill out the form. And they can observe you virtually if they're not located right there with you. They're certainly able to just watch you over the computer and then fill out the form and either send it directly to us, or they could send it to you to share with us, whatever is totally acceptable. So exciting to see that there's a very good piece of you guys who are coming on who are new to the program. So that is wonderful. Welcome. So I'm going to open the floor for questions, and then if no one has pressing questions, then I might, add some other prompts. But let's start with just questions that people might have. And you can either raise hands or however. So hi, Sue, go ahead.
All right, this may not be the place. I may need additional help, but I received my training and I was not able to offer the program at the time because of the day in between the two classes. I'm sorry. I'm at a senior center and we are now open 3 days a week. So I'm ready to offer the program. I can't get into the website.
Yeah.
Let me refresh my training.
I just sent you an email, Sue, probably like 20-30 minutes ago. I copied my colleague Elizabeth. She just needs to update the dates in our system. There was a oversight, and so she'll get that updated and respond, and you'll have access, and you'll be good to go.
And is there a refresher course I can take? Because it's been a while and I
walk
really
back through the course again. You can just walk, you'll have access to the whole course. So that's a great question for anybody who takes the course and then once, you have your organization gets a license for 2 years and your training credentials are married to that license, and you're able to revisit the training at any point during that licensure time. And so, yes, so feel free, any of you who ever have, if you take the training and then a few months pass before you actually do your first workshop and you feel like it would be helpful to look at it again, you absolutely can just go back and walk through the course again. It won't affect anything negatively. You can rewatch the videos for the exercises. Those are available there. You can rewatch the web-based game training. So if you have not seen the training or have not, done the optional module in Absorb that is to teach you how to use the computer assisted, the technology kind of enhanced version, that's always available to you too. So if you, absolutely, for you, Sue, go back and walk through it. But for anybody else, the same applies. You guys are able to walk back through your training. You're able to go back and watch the exercise videos to refresh your memory how to do those. And we encourage everyone, if you haven't tried the technology assisted version, the web game that is in the same platform where you access the printable curriculum, we absolutely encourage you to try that. And there's a training module in your Absorb dashboard to go through to feel more comfortable using that. So definitely give that a shot.
Thank you so much. I've been so frustrated trying to get it.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry about that. But like I said, we'll get you taken care of. And I did email you and Elizabeth here just a few minutes ago.
Thank you.
Yeah. Diane, do you have your hand up or to ask a question? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Go for it.
I got a couple questions, points. It took me 3 tries to pass the test. One of them I would have passed, except I accidentally hit the wrong button. I realized it once I hit submit, I could not go back to change that answer. Guess what? I got 75. So that one that I would have been able to try to change would have got me passing. I am legally blind, and I know that my trainer contacted somebody about being able to change the format so that we could get a printable folder for me, document. To take it up to like 16 font. And is that available, or are we going to have to, use like the tablet where I have to read from the tablet and.
Yeah.
I think you go ahead and Dr. Crandall.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the best option for you because there's so many materials that and they've all been formatted in a certain way, and to increase the font to 16 on all of those materials would be really prohibitive. So I think, I mean, it'd be very, have you used a tablet? Do you have a tablet?
I have an iPad. There, my agency is going to provide me with a tablet probably tomorrow. Tomorrow is like session 2. I'm doing like the even sessions with one of the trainers because she wants to make sure that I can like ring the bingo balls, and because I mean, like, look at the size of my pinky nail, and that I can read the material. You know, I've got magnifiers and stuff, but she wants to make sure that I can do it.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully that works out for you. If not, let us know. We'll try to think of something else. But we think at this point that's probably your best option in order to have access to everything without missing on anything. So let us know.
And one more thing. Like I said, last week was session 0 when I says, hey, I'm legally blind. Yeah, I can do this. I think everybody was impressed at how well I did and how well prepared I was. So
great.
That's awesome.
That's really great.
You're an example for everybody. That's amazing.
That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, welcome. We're excited to hear how successful it is. We know it'll be a success, and we look forward to hearing an update from you.
Okay, I can email you or maybe get on next month.
Absolutely. Either way would be great.
So
Miss
find out tomorrow.
Missy, did you have a question?
No, I just typed it in the the message.
Okay, I just saw the hand was still up on the little
sorry.
thing. No, okay, don't be sorry. Anybody else, feel free to just unmute your mic and just introduce yourself and ask a question.
Hi, this is Teresa Ferrari from Story County,
Hey.
Iowa. I just wondered, I know you mentioned a while ago about another program with diabetes. I don't know, were you still working on that, or is that going to be?
Yeah, that is a work in progress. We're starting our pilot work this month. Actually, we just finalized our curriculum materials, and we are still looking for people to pilot that. You gave you a little time frame, but if you're wanting to do that and help us out, then you can just maybe send me an email with your contact information. You're interested. We're kind of compiling a list of everyone who's interested, and then we'll be reaching out. But it won't be readily available to everyone probably until we can get that data, and so probably later this fall. Maybe early 2027.
Okay. Yeah, I would be interested in filing it. So I'll send you an email. That's my.
Thank you. Great.
Dana, you asked if it'll be a completely different program or if it'll be a bingo size workshop. It will be bingo size. It will be exactly what you're used to. The health education component will be focused on diabetes management. So it will be similar to the falls prevention education and the nutrition education and the universal wellness. It will be bingo and exercise and diabetes management questions. So it will be an additional workshop, same fun bingo size platform.
So what we did, just so everybody is kind of familiar with how this process for developing this workshop, we are working with a team of experts at the University of Kentucky who are diabetes educators, physicians, experts in diabetes. So they're the ones that actually built the curriculum for this. And it was based off of, existing diabetes management programs. We just basically took the topics and we're building them into the bingo size platform to obviously make it much more fun than some of the other things that are out there. So that's you can be rest assured that it's been vetted. That's why it's taking a while, because we've got going back and forth, looking at the material, making sure that it's appropriate. And then obviously we want to collect the data and do the research to establish the evidence for it. So that's what we're up to now.
RW bingo size. I'm not sure what what the full name there is, but I saw that you mentioned that you've been through the nutrition and the falls prevention workshops, and you're looking for suggestions on how to kind of like liven things up, and that you do play great music. I would be curious, have you tried using the technology enhanced version, the web assisted game with the cage and the videos and all of that, or have you been doing it in the traditional printable format? If you're not able to answer on the mic, that's okay. Maybe just you use the technology version. It's Regional West Medical Center, Terry Yankee. Hi, Terry. So ideas for spicing it up even more, you certainly could do, like monthly themes. You could do, focus on some holiday type stuff. I'm trying to think what's coming up, like Easter's coming up. You can,
St. Patrick's Day.
Go ahead.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Yep. You could definitely, do like themes. You could theme some of your prizes. Looks like you've done that. So anybody else have any other novel ideas, Dr. Crandall, or others of things that you have thought of or have tried successfully?
The Universal Wellness Workshop is another option too. So if you haven't tried that one, that's a shorter one. It's 6 weeks. So it's a little bit different information, a little bit shorter. So that's something you could try. But I'm interested to hear some other ideas.
It's Universal Wellness, Terry. And if you don't have access to it, email me and we'll get you access to it. It's a newer workshop that we're sharing with people. I was about to say something and then I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I always encourage people, once you've run through the curriculum workshops, to then go to the exercise only workshop, the exercise and bingo only workshop, and then maybe have people work on like, challenging themselves to do more repetitions, to use a heavier band, to, like do a slightly higher intensity version, in those universally designed exercise videos on the platform. That's one of the beautiful things, is that it shows different versions, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like that's a great opportunity for people, if they've been sitting, to try standing. If they're already standing, to try, doing more reps, doing some of the balance challenges, doing some of the other things to help, increase their, strength and kind of the challenge level with it, but not necessarily from a curriculum challenge level. It's kind of a way to focus more on like, okay, you've learned this information. Now let's focus on a physical challenge. So that's a thought.
Could they do, I know, in our daybreak, they did, just to incorporate the music instead of calling out numbers all the time. Every, on one day of the week, they did music bingo. So they played the song, you had to find the song on your card, and then they used that music then to do the exercises. They thought that was really fun.
Cute. Other questions? Misty, I saw where you asked on here, if you guys ever need, she mentioned that there are, the motivation and movement kit comes with 20 bingo size playing cards for the participants in it. You guys can always order more of those from us if you want, but you also have access to print more of those in the facilitator dashboard. So if you just wanted to print additional ones on cardstock, you could, or if you would prefer not to go through the hassle and you'd prefer to just buy them pre-printed because they're, two-sided and color and all that, then I think they're under $10 for a pack of them plus shipping, I believe. So you certainly can order more from us if anybody ever needs. If anybody needs anything, bands, balls, cards, prizes, shirts, all of that stuff is available on the e-commerce store for super easy access. Let's see, Lorraine asked, can you accept bingo prizes from clients, or do you have to stick to bingo size prizes only? You can supplement with other things. We love for you to use the bingo size prizes. Obviously, that's fun, and it, you know, kind of goes along with the game, and their curriculum reinforcements. So they do go along with a lot of what we're teaching. So we definitely love for you guys to come back and use those and get those. But if you have an opportunity to, you know, utilize some donated items as well and mix those in, then that would be fine too. Other questions? Does anybody have any, this is another opportunity where we love, like, does anybody have any success stories to share? So I feel like sometimes that's super helpful for those. There were quite a few people who are, I think there were 10 or more maybe, who are here and are getting ready to start the program. So I would love for anybody who, you know, has some encouragement or a success story for those newbies to share. That would be great if anybody's interested in sharing anything. Well, I know there are success stories, but if you can't share or aren't up for sharing, that's okay. But I know silence doesn't mean there's not success stories, because they're everywhere. We hear them all the time, and we look forward to hearing success stories from those of you who are new, and hopefully here in you know, another month or two when you come back to another session, then maybe you guys will be the ones to have some stories to share with others.
I can tell you what we're getting ready to do.
Sure.
I think it's going to work. We had met with Christine a while back. Our group is working on with our senior companions and their clients, and we're having a little issue with getting Zoom. But anyway, we have these iPads that the senior companion program already has. They have a bunch of games and things on them, and they have the Zoom app. So I believe as if we can get our facility to give us a real Zoom account so it doesn't end in 40 minutes, they're going to be able to the senior companion, go to their client's house on bingo day, and they can get on the app, get on the meeting, and we can all play bingo together. And we'll lead it from our facility. I'm at a healthcare facility, but we'll lead it for them, and then they will be in different homes and towns within South Dakota playing bingo size at home. So we're hopeful. Yeah.
Excited for you guys to get your Zoom account and hear how it goes. I know
I've got the training lined up, and I've got it all, you know, we're going to have them come and log into their app, you know, log in, and we're going to play it, and we're going to see how it goes. And then, yeah, they're going to take to their clients to say, okay, I did this. It was super fun. You want to do it with me? We'll sign up for, I think it's gonna be Tuesday, Thursdays or something. And, you know, we'll sign up, and then that's when I'll come to do your they'll have a few additional visits during that time period with some of their clients, but it should be pretty fun. So
That's super exciting.
Amazing. Thanks for that. That's great. Great news.
Hi,
Here's a-
I'm Beatrice.
Hi, Beatrice.
And, hi, I am in Florida, and I'm with Senior Connections. And ever since I started teaching bingo size about 3 years ago, I have a special group at a church that loves bingo size, and they come and take it every year. I have 2 other workshops that I health and wellness classes that I teach, and they are always looking forward to taking all 3 every year. And what they do is then sometimes invite friends, and then, you know, they also build relationships. So they always are looking forward to it. So I want to share that with you. They just love the program.
We love repeats like that. That's one of our favorite, right? When we hear stories of the workshop's over and they say, no, it can't be over. You have to come back and, you know, do it again. We definitely get that, and we love that. That's the goal, is we want them to want more and more and more.
Mhm.
So way to go. You're doing great, and we love hearing that.
another thing that's been fun is every semester, well, 2 semesters out of the year, we have this exercise science class that has to do learning development or learning service hours, they call them. That's what it is. And so anyway, we got hooked up with our professor, and there's lots of options they can do. So everybody wants to do soccer with the kids, but we always now, the last 3 years, we've gotten just a few who say, well, I could do that bingo size thing. And so then so right now we have 2 University of Sioux Falls students doing bingo size at retirement buildings. And they can take it on. I mean, they're adults and they do a really nice job and they have a blast doing it. So that's been kind of fun.
That's awesome. That's actually kind of how it started. Is Dr. Crandall was big on service learning with his students. And so, I mean, that's like the whole, inception of the program and part of that story. So yeah, we definitely love to hear that, there's students out doing it and interacting with older adults. It's so neat to have intergenerational connections, and preparing the next generation of professionals out, to go out and work in the older adult world.
Yeah. Then I like that the older students, well, it seems like they've kind of mentioned oh, that was a good one. That was a fun one. So then there's always a couple gals, or we've had a couple guys too, but oh, well, she said it was really a fun one. I'm like, that's good.
That's awesome. Love it. I saw a quick question. Somebody was asking, for those of you who are newer, this won't make any difference to you, but for those who have been around for quite some time, we have an older iteration of bingo size, like the web-based game that has been retired and phased out. So for your question, the cards from the old version that were numbered 1 through 36, those do not work anymore. The new web-based platform bingo is just traditional bingo, like the bingo piece of the bingo size, because we got a lot of feedback, that people wanted it to feel more traditional. So it's B4 or I20 or whatever now. So the old cards that say just 1 through 36, those would not work with the new technology version, just to clarify for anybody who's been around for a while and kind of knows what I'm talking about. And if you're newer, then don't worry about it. We're upward and onward, and the new version is the best version yet, and we're confident we'll continue over the years to make it even better. But we had a purpose for those 1 through 36. The idea is that every participant got to participate with every role, and so that was why that was the way it was. But again, based on feedback that people wanted it to be more traditional, we've moved to traditional bingo roll calling with the new web-based game. So use the new cards if you need them. Like I said, they're in the web-based game and facilitator dashboard, so you should be able to access those if you need them. Other questions? I say, if not, I say we'll stay as long as you want us to stay, but we don't want to, drag it out and eat into people's time any more so than what they actually need. So
I did have one question.
Yeah, go, Cami.
So for bingo size, as a facilitator or leader, do you have to renew that? Is it every 2 years?
It's every time this is not really confusing, but basically it's due to renew every time your organization's license is due to renew. And so if you did that at the beginning, then yes, it would be due in 2 years. But depending on when you take the training, it's not necessarily your training / certification is not necessarily good for 2 years from the date from which you take it, because it could depend on when you took it in your organization's license cycle. So it's always due to renew upon your organization needing to renew their license. So if you're not sure when you're due, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to verify that. But it's always due in conjunction with the organization's license, and all the facilitators are due at that time.
Okay, because I know they did just renew the organization license, and then I know they had grants to cover the cost for the leaders for bingo size. So that's why I was kind of wondering if it's every 2 years or if there was
you don't have to retake the training now. We used to require that you retook the training. So it's very possible. Just shoot me an email and I'll verify. But it's very possible that they already took care of it. They renewed your credentials, because at this point, it's basically a fee to continue to have access to the training and to continue to have access to all the dashboard materials. But once you have taken the new, most up-to-date training in Absorb, which I believe we're about 1.5 years, are we almost 2 years into that, Jason? Can you remember when the Absorb, I feel like the Absorb training might have gone live like July 1st-ish of last year was 4. I feel like. So anyway, if you have access to the Absorb dashboard, Dr. Crandall, you're muted. I don't know if that's intentional.
Sorry. July 24th.
Okay, that's what I thought. So July, if you have taken the training since like July 24, you should have access to the most up-to-date version. And when you renew, you're simply paying to have, your organization is just paying for you to continue to have access to the training and to the facilitator materials and the dashboard and all of that. You do not have to actually walk back through the training. But if there's any questions about, are you up to date, all of that kind of stuff, you can get in the dashboard and you can open your course and then look at your certificate, and your certificate date will be updated. If your organization has renewed your license, that certificate date automatically updated as far as like when it says it expires. So that's your like surefire way to check. And then if for some reason you're struggling with that or just have a question, just email me and I'm happy to verify anything for anybody.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
It is great to see a lot of the stories you guys are sharing in the chat about successes. Feel free to share that with us anytime. If you want to share pictures, we love to post things like that on our social media. I know everybody likes to, to be acknowledged. So, feel free to do that if your bingo sizer is willing and would like to send a picture and a story of how their how bingo size is benefiting them. We'd love to share that kind of information and stories to everybody.
Dr. Crandall, you asked me something about funding partners.
Yes, there was a question in the chat, or someone said that they lost their funding and wanted some tips on partnerships, which I know we've talked about before. So
Yeah.
you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. That's a tricky one in the sense of, everybody doesn't necessarily work in the same arenas. Some of you are kind of more connected to some funding mechanisms than others. So if you're in, senior center, if you're a council on aging, if you're kind of associated with in some conjunction with those arenas, then you hopefully have access to the Title III-D funding. And if you're not sure, maybe ask your administrator about that. That's certainly the biggest used funding mechanism for funding bingo size. Most people are able to tap into those Title III-D funds that come from the Administration for Community Living, or ACL. But grants are obviously something that we see a lot of, whether that's national grants or whether it's more localized. I get a lot of correspondence from people who are applying for local grants that are being hosted by a hospital or a local entity. So certainly that's something to keep your ear to the ground for, or to be looking for. There's opportunities for partnerships. Sometimes entities will have, one entity could have the funding but not the manpower, and one agency can have the manpower but not the funding. And so those are great opportunities for you guys to partner up, those kinds of things. So if you're not necessarily affiliated with your local office on aging, I would say they're a great place to start with, like, talking about those conversations, kind of making connections. We're happy to share any local partnership opportunities that we could know of, or just some introductions, things like that. We don't usually know about specific funding, but about like partnerships, things like that, or someone we could introduce you to. And we also, in the instance that you're associated with skilled nursing facilities, nursing homes that are CMS certified, there's a funding mechanism specific to that we're happy to share about, called Civil Money Penalty Awards. So you could reach out to either of us about that if that's something that you're interested in, if you are affiliated with nursing home and have interest in bringing the program there. We could help with that. Anything else that that I didn't mention, Dr. Crandall, that you specifically were thinking of?
One I would add, Carla's success story about working with the university. I think universities would be very interested, as she mentioned. They're always interested in getting students out and about. So you might partner with them. They have some funding. Oftentimes, I know our university has some funding to help with some of those kinds of costs. So it's worth a shot if you have a university or college that is near you. Reach out. The departments, vary, because a lot of departments would be interested in this: social work, exercise science, physical therapy, occupational therapy. Basically, anyone who has students that are going to go work with an older adult, they would be very interested in that. So that would be one approach.
Mhm. And potentially, even if it's, that's a great manpower partnership. If because some of you have the capacity to offer it monetarily, but maybe don't have staff. That's certainly something that we hear often, or that you only have one person and it's very limited, what one person can do. And so if you were able to partner with a local university program where students were going to value, or not value, we're going to benefit from that, and it was going to help them with class training, things like that, that would be a great partnership to work out, where the students can help you either with your local implementation, that you're, that one initial implementation, or even spreading, to different locations, things like that. But just make sure that, anyone who's going to do the program, who's going to facilitate, does have to go through the training. So they would have to either your organization could pay for them to go through the training, or as he mentioned, it's possible that that their department could have some funding to help pay for those types of things. But just make sure that anyone who is out in the communities doing the program does need to actually have been through the training and have a certificate. So just keep that in mind. Any other questions at the end here? I'll say there's been some good conversations, and appreciate some of the questions have prompted us to share some good things. So I feel like that's hopefully been valuable for many of you. Ada, are you trying to talk, but you're muted possibly? I can't unmute you, or I would do it manually. I think you're the only one who can unmute you when you're in. There you go.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. I want to know if you are going to send by an email which will be the requirements to attend the conference. We are going to be like participants, or you need volunteers. The conference will be in Washington, May?
No, the conference is being put on by the National Council on Aging. And so we're not putting the conference on. I'm just going to be attending. So I was just asking if there was anyone going to be there as well, so that we could meet in person. And so that's all I was asking.
Okay, just to do an outreach that the people can know what means our program, and motivate that during the aging time, they can use this resource just to keep active.
Yeah, this is a conference for aging professionals to meet and to learn about other services and programs. So this is not something that's for like the community. This is not something that participants attend. This is other professionals from area agencies on aging and state programs and things like that. And there will be vendors there who service the aging community. But so it will be strictly professionals who are at the conference. It would not have any impact or reach to any kind of like participants or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alicia, did you have a question real quick? Saw a hand go up. Or Carla, you looked like you were going to say something maybe.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say we'll be there.
Well, come meet Dr. Crandall.
Yeah, that's anybody who has an ACL or a National Council on Aging, if they have one of their grants, is required to send 2 people. So we have to be there. So
Well, good.
yeah,
I'm sad I won't get to meet you, but you'll get to meet Dr. Randolph.
See you in person.
yes.
Okay, guys. I say if there's not anything else, we'll go ahead and give you back your time this last few minutes of the hour if no one else has questions or comments or concerns. And obviously, if you guys think of any of those things outside of this platform, email us anytime.
Thanks.
Okay, thank
So
you.
good to see everyone. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
again next month.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Carol.